Hey there, are you having trouble with a narcissist in your life and you're looking for a kick-ass way to shut them down? Well, then by the end of this video, you're going to have 10 kick-ass ways to shut them down because I'm going to give you 10 comebacks, 10 kick-ass comebacks to shut down narcissists. Hi, I'm Rebecca Zung and welcome back to my channel. If you are brand new here, then you will find this content valuable. I want to make sure that every time you come to this channel, you get something really, really good, something really juicy to help you. I'm an attorney. I'm also a globally recognized narcissist negotiation expert, and I help you by giving you valuable tips and resources every single day. And so if you haven't subscribed to this channel, go ahead and do that now. Subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you will be empowered every single day with something that will give you everything you need to break free professionally, personally, and finally live the life that you deserve. Does that sound good? All right. All right. So in this video, you are going to get 10 kick-ass comebacks to shut down that narcissist in your life. I know dealing with narcissistic individuals can be draining, can be exhausting, can make you feel used, can make you feel abused, can make you feel like you are powerless, paranoid. I've been there. I know, not just representing them as an attorney and seeing what it's like in that situation, but also I've dealt with them in my personal life. And that's why I'm on this mission, this crusade to get you armed with exactly what you need. So I want you to have these kick-ass comebacks. I want you to have them so that you have these resources, these toolkit, this arsenal, right? So that you have these strategies so that you'll be better equipped to deal with them and have them at the ready so that you can handle their manipulative behavior when it comes thrown at you. All right. So the first one is responding with empathy. All right. So what's like, you just say, what's your motivation for doing that? When you're dealing with a narcissist, ask them about what's their motivation for doing that. Instead of coming at them with anger, you just kind of make them pause. It's almost like stunning them for a second. What is your motivation for doing that? And you kind of almost get them to reflect on their actions for a second. They're not going to be having empathy for you. So never think that you're going to get them to have acknowledge your actions, see your side, have closure, any of those things. But by prompting them to consider why they're behaving in a certain way, you get them to challenge them to think beyond their own self-centered mindset just for a quick second. Wait a minute. What is that? Okay. So that's number one, responding with empathy. The second one is, it seems like you're trying to make a point. You're saying something like, what is it you're trying to do? What is it you're trying to do? Again, when you kind of come at them almost like with a naive bewilderment, like, what is it you're doing? You're almost like feigning confusion in a way, instead of, coming at them with this anger and meeting them with anger. You almost sort of come at them with, what are you doing? And it seems like you're trying to make a point. And again, it sort of calls out their attempt to manipulate the conversation for their own benefit. You're sort of observing their tactics, and again, it almost sort of pushes it out to the sunlight and makes it transparent. The next one is, again, sort of an empathetic approach where you say, would it be helpful if I stopped? Would it be helpful if I listened? A lot of times I just I just find myself where I just stop and I just look at them. They just want to keep going. And so offering to just stop, offering to just listen, let them go. You value them, you value their perspective. A lot of times, honestly, they dig themselves into a hole and they give you leverage. They tell you what they're thinking. They say things that are nonsensical. And, it stops them from constantly controlling everything. They think that they're giving constructive dialogue, and it just fosters better communication that way because it takes you out of this feeling of frustration and it puts you into this almost observer mode. The next one is like a seeking clarity, where you're saying, can you explain what you were thinking when you said that? Can you explain what you were thinking when you did that? Either when you said that or when you did that. Can you explain what you were thinking when you said that? Or can you explain what you were thinking when you did that? You're making them explain their thought process. You're confronting them about potential consequences of their words. You're confronting them about potential consequences of their actions. Kind of almost makes them think about their impact of their behavior, and it promotes self-reflection. The next one is where you again observe their behavior. You seem angry. You appear to be upset. You sound frustrated. You look worried. I love approaches where you almost are like reporting the news. You don't actually have to hold the microphone, but you can just sort of almost think of them as like a toddler having a tantrum on the floor. You wouldn't get down on the floor and have a tantrum with the toddler, right? You would just look at the toddler and you'd be like, okay, are you done yet? And that's sort of what you have to do with them. So you're addressing their emotions, you're redirecting the focus of the conversation. In some ways, you kind of end up getting more clarity. Are you worried about something? Are you angry about something? And you can encourage them to explore their concerns more constructively, even sometimes. Sometimes they'll be like, you goddamn right, I'm angry, whatever, but whatever. I mean, you don't have to be at the mercy of their wrath. Because I always say, step 1, don't run. Step 2, make a U-turn. Step 3, break free, because you're kind of course correcting. You're stopping that conditioning from the narcissist. People say, just leave, whatever. But sometimes that's like too much to think about all at once, to just leave, get out of it, so you have to think of it in baby steps. So that first step sometimes is just, a boundary. And that first boundary can just be, I'm going to just not allow somebody to speak to me in a disrespectful manner. The next one is challenging their behavior, so where you just say, how do you feel when somebody doesn't agree with your opinion? Because a lot of times they're not agreeing with your opinion. You're trying to get them to reflect on their need for validation and control, but you're really seeing like, hey, listen, you're doing the same thing here, right? So highlighting their emotional response and differing opinions, you encourage them to consider alternative viewpoints and open up to a balanced conversation. Now, they're probably not going to do that, but you're sort of seeing what's happening there. And by the way, I have a whole video with regard to kick-ass comebacks to narcissistic texts, by the way, too. And the one thing you really want to do is not engage too much, with all of this, because they're trying to pull you in. They're trying to bait you a lot of times. So what I'm trying to get you to do is sort of stay above the fray with this. Don't get too deep into the woods. Don't get too deep into the mud with this, right? Because they're trying to get you baited. They're trying to get you hooked in. And once you get hooked in, then you're down in it with them. If they pull you in, just don't do that. Stay where you're sort of looking at them. You don't explain. You don't justify. You don't defend yourself. Right? You look at them. The next one, number 7, is it sounds like what you're asking is. You're sort of almost like mirroring. You're almost sort of like summarizing. It sounds like to me what you're asking is, and then just sort of summarize. So by pointing out this, it sounds like what you want is validation from me. You're pointing out their insecurities a lot of times. They want all this validation. They want to control the conversation. I hate when you expose that in them. And by the way, I have a whole free sheet with all of a bunch of phrases that you can get, and it's at disarmthenarc.com. It's phrases for disarming narcissists, which will be all summarized for you. Then you can use them for whatever you want. So disarmthenarc.com, go grab those. The next thing is, are you trying to control the conversation? Again, you're like highlighting it. Sounds like you're trying to control the conversation. It directly says, look what you're doing. You're manipulating me. I see what you're doing. It calls them out, and you're challenging them to be more respectful. You're challenging them to be in a balanced conversation. This is so difficult. Okay. All of this is so difficult. If you don't have support, you need support. I have a free private Facebook group, Narcissist Negotiators with Rebecca Zung. Join my free private Facebook group and get help, get support. If you don't have access to therapy, I have a sponsor in this channel, which you can access through betterhelp.com/Rebecca Zung. Get the help and support that you need. It's a sponsor for us, so we receive commissions. It doesn't cost you any extra. We just want you to have access to trustworthy sources. Number 9 is encouraging constructive dialogue. So why are you so defensive about this? They're always defensive, but then, they accuse you of things like that, right? Again, you're like highlighting their behavior, showing them what it is that they're doing. It's encouraging them to see that they're being insecure and hopefully opening up more constructive dialogue. And if it's not, then that's fine. You can say, listen, this approach is not working for me. We can have a conversation about this when you can be more constructive. You can always walk away. And then the last one is, how does this conversation help us both? Again, encouraging constructive dialogue by emphasizing the mutual benefit of constructive dialogue. Where are we going with this? What's the bigger picture? What is the potential outcome for both of our benefit? You want to promote a cooperative and collaborative approach to communication. They'll say that that's what they want, but of course it's not. We've discussed 10 kick-ass comebacks to shut down narcissists so that you can also take back your own power. And that's really the more important thing here, right? You want to stand up to that manipulative behavior. You want to reclaim your voice in this. And by utilizing these empowering comebacks, you can create those boundaries and start taking back your own voice in this thing. Foster healthier communication, maintain your self-worth. Don't let anyone dim your light anymore or undermine your value. Stay strong, stay confident. You have value. They didn't attach themselves to you because you have so little value. They attach themselves and stay attached to you because you have so much. Don't you dare ever forget that. I want you to put that in the comments right now. I have value. I have value. I want you to put that there because I don't want you to forget it. I have value. And if you found this video helpful, give it a like, give it a share. Make sure you share it out with anybody that you think will find it valuable. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel, hit that notification bell, and for more empowering content, right? Remember that together we can create a world where healthy communication and mutual respect prevail. All right. So thank you for watching. The next video that I want you to watch is what drives the vindictive narcissist. What's driving them inside here? What's going on inside here? I'm Rebecca Zung. Remember that today is a great day to start negotiating your best life. And I'm going to see you in that next video.